Okay, here we go. I realized that in my last video, you couldn't see my feet. I was standing too close. And so I'm trying to back up and I'm speaking a little louder, so hopefully you'll be able to hear me with that camera picking up. I need to work on my right shoulder because my right shoulder tends to move up, and I saw that in the video. And what I want to do today is I want to go through some basic blocks, basic kicks, and stances today. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the stances. And the first one that we talk about in karate, Yoshikai karate, Shingohai Yoshikai, is Zenkutsu Dachi. Okay, so you can think of the Zenkutsu Dachi traditionally being like this. You know, with the knee bent more than 90 degrees. You can't see your toes because the knee is bending over the toes. You can see my ankle here being more than 90 degrees. Okay, I'm about shoulder wide and about 1.5 deep. Now this has been the traditional Yoshikai stance that you've seen. Now a modification of that is to bring it up. And as I was saying yesterday, you basically allows you to tuck your hip underneath. If your hip is sticking out, the stance may be part of the problem because you're trying to rotate the hips underneath, but you may be too tight in the back leg. Also, you know, taking just a little bit more of a runner's type stance allows you that movement. So when I'm practicing katas, I tend to like this as a modified Zenkutsu Dachi. But here's the traditional, here's the modified. And you can see I dropped a little bit down in terms of my stances. You know, so a lot of power generated in that traditional type movement. That's stance number one. Stance number two would probably be Shikodachi. Okay, both knees are bent, your hips are underneath, you know, you're in that good Shikodachi stance. Again, you know, Zenkutsu Dachi and Shikodachi are good for these linear movements. Straight, 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 maybe turning 90 degrees or turning 90 degrees. And in the katas, Kihon, Shodan, all the way up to Kihon, Yandan, the H forms, we have 270 degree turns as well. And I'll get into that probably in another video. So our first two stances are Zenkutsu Dachi and Shikodachi. And you notice my head height is still the same. I have not changed my head height. All I've done is change that rear foot. This one stays the same, and then I just rotate out. Okay, you don't have to get down real deep. That's stylistic. That's, you know, term it pretty, and that's not what we're practicing. We're practicing more of a kumite type of fighting type of karate. Yoshikai is a fighting style. And so you do want to, you know, basically bring it up some, but you're still in that nice deep Shikodachi stance for fighting. Okay, that's stance number two. Probably the third stance that we're going to talk about is called Nikuashi Dachi, cat stance. And as I said in my video yesterday, you want to be able to have the hips facing you, facing the opponent. You don't want to turn out with that rear foot because it takes the hips offline. You want to have it here. And basically it is a defensive stance. You move back into it, you know, and then you're able to move out of it. So that's three stances. And probably the fourth one, which you'll see in some of the katas later on, is Kosadachi. Basically looks like this here. Okay, I'm trying to face the camera. It looks like this here. Again, you're probably going to come back and come back out. It's a very quick transitionary stance, so is Nikuashi Dachi. You can probably stay in Zenkutsu Dachi stance a little bit longer, but definitely when you're in Kosadachi, you're not going to want to stay in that stance too long. You're going to want to come out of it. Same thing with Nikuashi Dachi. You're going to stay in that stance and come out of it. Okay, so there you have four stances. Again, remember your feet, good feet placement, where are your feet in relation to the stance in terms of your hips. This is a good Zenkutsu for me in terms of kumite, in terms of kata. Okay, same thing with Shikodachi. Good stance for me in terms of kata and also kumite. Okay, Kosadachi, Nikwashidachi. And so, foot is trying to be pointed forward, light on the foot here for Nikwashidachi. About more weight on the support leg, I can bring that foot up. I'm not resting on that rear leg. If I'm resting on the rear leg, I'm in the hole. You never want to be in the hole because I got to get all this energy to come out to a neutral position to move forward. Energy, time, not good for you. You want to be able to spring out of your stances. Okay, those are your 4 stances. Now, going back to Nokusuke, Yoi. So you move into the stance called Uchi Hachiji Dachi, okay? And toes are in, knees are bent, shoulder wide are your feet. Again, you drop your weight down a little bit, you drop your center of gravity down. And this is, the Yoi stance. You move into that. And for 27 movements, you stay in the stance. Now, there is a movement where Sensei Sadler moves out into modified Zenkutsu Dachi and moves over to one side to the other. That's his perspective. I was taught to stay in Uchi Hachiji Dachi throughout the entire 27 movements kata. Okay, let's practice the basic 4 blocks. Upper block. Okay, you gotta come up in front of your head, over to the side at an angle. Okay, you're protecting your head. Coming up, rotating over. That's an upper block. Outside middle block. Okay, blocking can also be you're striking the arm, striking that elbow. Okay, inside middle block. You can see throughout these movements that I'm rotating the hips. And hopefully you can see my toes are grabbing the floor really strongly and really hard because I want to be able to rotate with power through those movements. Okay, so we have upper block, outside middle, inside middle, 3 blocks. And the next one is Geidan Barai, down block. Okay, 4 blocks, 4 stances. Now let's talk about 4 punches and then we'll talk about 4 basic kicks. Now, the most basic punch is the chest punch. Okay, you're punching shoulder height. I like to hit with this knuckle here. That's the strongest knuckle. My wrist is straight. The target for me is the shoulder. Okay, traditionally I was taught solar plexus. Okay, but in most instances I'm going to go for the shoulder to try to disable the shoulder from fighting back. So I'm going to hit right here where my thumb is, right into that shoulder, right there. That's where I want to hit. Punch number 1. Punch number 2 is head height. I want to go right to the nose. Punch number 3 is low, groin. Now some people you see punching way out here for the groin. First of all, that's not a groin height. It's really more at the belly. And if you're having to reach way out there to punch somebody low, they're too far away. That's too much distance. So really, if somebody grabs you close, you're going to deliver that groin punch. 4 punches. Okay. 4 kicks. First basic one, all my kicks are no higher than my belly button. Kumite, street fighting, self-defense, not tournament, not tournament fighting, not tournament kata. Okay, this is for a fighting art. Okay, my geri, front kick, leg comes up, comes straight out. Pulling the toes back, pointing the foot. My geri. And we have yoko geri to the side. I don't have hip flexibility, hip rotation I used to when I was younger. I'm 62 years old, but I will do a variation of that because my body can't take that anymore. But it's a side kick. I'm tending to do more of a snap kick just because I can't rotate the hips over. Kick to the side. Kick to the side. Kick to the side. 2 kicks. Third kick is my washigeri. Both of those kicks have been a linear movement. Front kick, side kick. Linear, linear. This one is in a circular movement. So it comes up and around. Again, I'm going to kick low. My washigeri. Coming up and around. Now, you can point the foot and pull the toes back for a more traditional type kick. And I'm coming to about mid-level. I can go over, but I don't want to be pulled off balance. I want to maintain my balance to come to here and come back. And it's really important to me that you always keep your hands up in position. A common mistake for folks is to do this. Like they're pulling on a rope to have to pull their hips up. The hands and the feet are operating independently. You don't need to do that. You don't need to pull back. Make sure you don't do that. So when you're doing a mai washigeri, you may bring the hands forward to protect you or get ready to punch, but the hands don't pull down. Okay, that's kick number 3. And probably the other kick that we have is a back kick. Okay, so there you have front kick, side kick, my washigeri round kick, and back kick. I was off balance a little bit. Back kick, 4 basic kicks, okay? So you need to learn to combine these in the blocks, the punches, maybe I'm grabbing, punching, kicking. So some real nice combinations that you can put together with those 4 blocks, the 4 stances, the 4 kicks. And so just remember to do that. Remember to keep your hips underneath. Don't be sticking out. Remember to learn to drop your weight down a little bit. And working with some of my other students, black belt students, they have a hard time about dropping their weight down, making sure that they keep the hips underneath. And this is for you, Neil. So when you're practicing, a nice way of being able to learn to drop your weight, just get into Yoi stance, Uchi, Hachi, Ji, Dachi, hard to say, but that's the name of the stance in Japanese, and just drop your weight and shift a little bit. Notice I haven't broken out of the stance. All I've done is shift my weight over to my left leg and drop my weight a little bit. And I've turned my body a little bit. And in doing that, I am deflecting. Deflecting a small bit. Maybe a punch is coming in and you're just deflecting. Or maybe you're gonna shift over a little bit and punch. But by doing that, you're dropping your weight, turning, punching, dropping your weight, turning, punching, and I'm still in the same stance. So what I like to do I have stairs coming up to my dojo. I stand over the edge of the stairs and I grip the edge with my toes. And that allows me a good, solid stance, uchi, hachi, ji, dachi, and I can practice a lot of rotation movements. You know, even trap, punch, trap, turn, punch, hook punch, hook punch, punch, back fist, hook, back fist. Oh, by the way, that is the fourth punch because we have 1, 2, 3, back fist. Hitting with your knuckles. It's, you know, all movements need to move from where you're at. So I'm not going to wind up for that. I'm just going to bring this hand right where it needs to go. Never wind up. And so with the other hand, you need to put it in a position. This is blocking. Blocking. Notice I've shifted a little bit to get out of the angled movement. And so there you have some basic movements and some basic techniques. Just continue to work on it. And next video, I will go through the H forms, Kihan, Shodan, Nidan, Sandan, Yandan. I'll just remember your stances, remember your feet, remember your hips, remember your movements, blocking, do the movements slow. Practice on technique. I like to do my movements slow, working on them. Do the movements slow, you can learn to do them fast. Do the movements slow, you focus on perfect technique. Thank you very much for this lesson. I think it's a little shorter, but I think we needed to cover some basics. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you.